Hello and welcome back to Jackknives Reviews. I'm of course your host, Jackknives. Today I will be reviewing the anime series Tokyo Revengers. Takemichi Hanagaki is a 26-year-old loser who used to be a part of a gang in middle school. One day he sees on the news that his ex-girlfriend and her brother were killed by the same gang that he used to be a part of years ago. Takemichi ends up being pushed in front of a train, somehow ending up 12 years in his own past, where he comes across the now dead brother of his ex, Naoto, saving him and telling him exactly when both him and his sister will die. When shaking his hand, he gets teleported back to his body weeks later to find time has changed. With this connection, he is now able to undo the wrongs of various gangs in the present by randomly going into the past and changing things. Hopefully for the better. So many people may not know this about me, but when it comes to sci-fi series, I love things that involve time travel, involving, time distortion, things like that. And it always fascinated me as far as just this concept of being able to rewrite your past and the butterfly effect of all of it. This show tackles it in an actually interesting way because Takemichi, the main character, isn't really a good guy, but he's not really a bad guy either. He was a part of a gang, and the gang were very violent. But he has a lot of habits of crying a lot, and I think they give him like a nickname for being a crybaby when he fights. The action sequences and the art style are very unique. Anime, especially shonen, has a habit of overdoing it. I could think of countless anime that don't have a realistic kind of fight sequence that feels like an actual fight. This is the first series off the top of my head, especially in the modern era, that actually deals with real fight, this kind of dynamic of each of them just trying to fit in this group, and none of them really having a set goal in mind. Takemichi obviously has the one of wanting to prevent what happens from happening, but then you have like their leader Mikey, who's probably my favorite character, and he is just like, we're all family and we're gonna be a family, and that's it. Like, that's really his whole thing, is like he's the best fighter, he's the strongest guy, and he's just kind of like, hey, we're all family, let's be a family, let's stick together as a family. And then you have Draken, who's his right hand, who's badass. He's just like straight. You'd think they would have built him as like this henchman with his design, but no, the dude kicks so much ass. He's like the big brother, father figure of all of them. The fights, as I said, are really intense, but not intense in the way of like Dragon Ball Z or Naruto intensity. More like when you'd watch the fights from Fight Club, you'd kind of be like, ooh, like, oh, because you could see those fights actually happening. It's like that. Obviously a little more accentuated through the animation style, but the character development, the story, the way they travel through time is very different, because through the actions of Takemichi, it allows him to travel through time. And then on top of that, it's kind of heartbreaking because we know that the outcome of it, and we're like, is it gonna change anything? Is stuff gonna get better? And we're just in the dark as he is, because every time he goes back to the present, it's different than when he left. So we really don't know the outcome of what his actions will do, and then his intents are never really fully realized. It's always kind of like adjacent to it, and it kind of course corrects itself and things like that, where it's like, okay. But it's fascinating to see a time travel show that doesn't have to do with like the technology or the necessary things of like, oh, I gotta save the world, I gotta prevent this X, Y, and Z from happening, and I'm from the future. No, it's literally just, as selfish as it sounds, a man trying to fix his own world, and subsequently the world of the people he cares about. As far as just the societal norms, the gang, the coming together, them still being alive, it's really interesting that is the focus of the story, and it keeps you intrigued because it's all based around the characters, and the more you get to know the characters, the more you start feeling like you see why Takemichi cares so much about these people. Especially seeing from where he came from, where he was completely alone, he has nobody, He's just a loser who basically lost everything he had. And starting from that point, and then kind of essentially seeing what he had and seeing why it's so important to him allows us to connect with him much better. And I'm still hooked on the series. I can't praise it enough because it's such a unique series. And if you like sci-fi, if you like hard-hitting action, and if you especially like slice of life, you'll really, really love this show. I give Tokyo Revengers 5 out of 5. Have you seen Tokyo Revengers? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, I'll see you next time.